Right, how to boost your testosterone as a man. I'm gonna give you three tips and tricks how to boost your testosterone as a man naturally. You should be boosting it naturally, especially if you're in your 20s and 30s. All right. First of all, let me explain why optimizing for testosterone is so crucial, especially as a man. All right, these are your building blocks. This is your foundational hormone that you absolutely need to get dialed in before anything else, really. When you have high testosterone, you're going to be more motivated. You're going to have more energy, which is going to allow you to take on more risk, take on more challenges, get more done, and ultimately be the best version of yourself. So check it out. First things first, exactly what I'm doing right now. Walking and sunlight. All right, those are two separate things, but I'm going to put it in the number one category because you can do it simultaneously, and ideally you want to do it simultaneously. Kill two birds with one stone. None of you should be driving to the gym and then walking on a treadmill. There is zero reason for that, unless of course maybe it's raining outside or it's not a beautiful day. There's some exceptions, but for the most part, if it's sunny outside, it's a nice, clear, beautiful day, you should be getting steps in outside, and you should be getting natural sunlight, vitamin D. And in addition to getting natural sunlight, you should be supplementing vitamin D as well. And when you're supplementing vitamin D, make sure it's vitamin D3 plus K2. All right, I don't have time to explain all the science behind it. And to be honest with you, I don't really understand the full science behind it, but I do know if you're gonna take vitamin D3, it needs to be stacked with K2, all right? So first and foremost, to build testosterone, natural sunlight, I would say at least 30 minutes a day. First thing you do when you wake up, get sunlight in your eyes. And throughout the day, make sure you're getting sun for at least 30 minutes and supplement with D3 and K2. And as far as steps go, you should be aiming for 10K steps, and that's minimum. All right, so at least 10K steps in 30 minutes in sunlight. First and foremost, that's how you build testosterone. Number two, let's talk about actual exercise in the gym. Heavy compound lifts. It's gotta be heavy lifts, gotta be compound lifts, ideally in the 6 to 8 rep range. So bench press, squats. Some people would prefer deadlifts. I prefer RDLs. Still compound lift. You can still go pretty heavy on that. And what else? Pull-ups, dips. All right, compound lifts, what those are exercises that are gonna work more than one muscle at the same time. All right, so when you're doing pull-ups, you're working your biceps, you're working your back, you're working your rear delts, you're working your core for stabilization. All right, so multiple muscles that you're working. All right, just spamming bicep curls might get you strong biceps, but it's not going to increase your testosterone, especially when you're not going heavy on it. You don't really want to go too heavy on bicep curls. Go heavy on it, but that's more of a isolation movement, so you got to be careful on that, because then you start messing with your elbow joints and your tendons and whatnot. So just be careful on going super heavy on bicep curls. I'm all for going heavy, but on the isolation movements, just be cautious. All right, so that's number two, heavy compound lifts. And last but not least, I saved this one to the very end because it's the most boring and the one that I hate the most, to be honest with you, but it's sleep. All right, you've got to optimize your sleep. Nothing else matters if you do not have your sleep in order. And that's super boring. I don't really like sleep, and I've never really been a good sleeper. I like to just pretty much go to bed when I'm tired, and so some nights that's 2 a.m, but I got stuff to do in the morning. So, I normally get up around 8 o'clock in the morning, which means ideally I want to be in bed by 11 12 o'clock, the latest, the absolute latest. But I'm usually in bed by 11. And you gotta, set yourself up for success here. So put the phone away 1 hour before bed, read a book for about 30 minutes. I used to read in the morning and throughout the day. I don't do that anymore. I save that for the last thing I do in the day. I'll read for 30 minutes, take magnesium. There's a whole couple supplements you can take. And I'll go more into a deep dive on how to optimize your sleep. But for now, just understand you should be getting at least 8 hours. And I'll throw one more in there for you guys. If you really, really, really want to boost your testosterone, you got to cut out your vices. That includes weed, that includes alcohol, and that includes porn. Any of those three are going to directly and indirectly tank your testosterone. It's going to mess with your sleep. It's going to mess with your productivity, especially when it comes to alcohol. It disrupts your muscle building synthesis. You're not going to be able to build muscle. You're not going to be able to recover. There's no benefits, especially for alcohol. And then weed's going to mess up your REM sleep as well, so just forget about it. You do those 4 things, you dial in those 4 things, you optimize that, you will boost your testosterone and you will feel great. And then once you boost your testosterone and you start feeling great again, you're never going to want to go back to them anyway. So try that out and you'll see what I mean.